Hey guys, Hikari here, and today we're going to be talking about the newest chapter of My Hero Academia, chapter 360, titled Even After All That. And the chapter starts off with Shigaraki standing over Bakugo, and he's basically telling him that, Izuku should have been here by now, and he's going to be here at any moment, and that probably a good thing that he doesn't have his quirks right now since he's able to kind of toy with Bakugo a bit more. And we see that in the beginning of the chapter, he literally has his foot on Bakugo's neck, and he's basically just playing around with him, kicking him around, kicking him up, and Bakugo's not able to launch a single attack, which I think he attempts to do in one of the panels, but he isn't able to get it off, and it completely misses Shigaraki, and Shigaraki then starts to grab him by a neck, saying that he's going to leave a corpse behind with Bakugo, and he's saying that judging by how enraged Deku got last time he skewered him during that one incident before, that it would make Deku go completely berserk if you were to find Bakugo actually deceased on the battlefield. And once again, picking up back from what he was doing last chapter, he's trying to get into Bakugo's head, telling him that, you grew up, seeing All Might fight and you thought it would be the same way for you someday. And he's telling Bakugo that he needs to face reality, that he isn't ever going to be able to step into the spotlight when compared to Midoriya. And he's basically saying that he's nothing compared to him, trying to get into Bakugo's head even more and break his spirit, which is obviously what All For One does. So this is All For One kind of projecting himself through Shigaraki. We all know this, and I've been saying it for the past couple of weeks, that this isn't fully Shigaraki, so do not take all of this as Shigaraki sayings. This is more of like a weird mix between the two, but I think right now All For One has the greater hold against the two of them right now. Nejire then shows up to attempt to save Bakugo, and she uses a Nejire spike or pike, and she uses this to attempt to get Bakugo, but Shigaraki instantly uses Bakugo as a sort of meat shield to get her to deflect the attack a different way. But in this moment, it's actually Sun Eater that can go behind him, and he uses scorpion pincers, and he injects poison into his back, and he was able to get behind him by using octopus camouflage, from probably eating some takoyaki. So he was able to camouflage, and he ate scorpion to be able to put that toxin into him and grow scorpion-like appendages. Although he was successfully able to inject the poison, obviously it isn't going to do too much to Shigaraki, and it seems like he grew some type of appendage that was able to get rid of the poison or cancel it out, which is pretty unfortunate, since I think if this was anybody but Shigaraki, this probably would have been like a one-hit KO on them, since we do see it was able to affect Shigaraki's body, which we know his body right now is not normal. So the fact that it was even able to somewhat do something before it was gotten away from him, or cleansed through some type of his body morphing from him, is a pretty big feat, honestly, for Sun Eater. So that's very cool. Shigaraki even then states that his body is always changing and adapting, and that they're gonna have to try way harder than that to really take him down, which we've all known. We know Shigaraki, he's very strong right now, so they're gonna have to pull out the big guns to be able to do that, and those big guns are obviously going to be Midoriya. Throughout all of this chaos, though, we see that Mirio was actually able to grab Bakugo by, going through, I'm not sure if this is actually him, like, going through Shigaraki's body. It looks like he literally, like, slid through his body and was able to sprout out from there using his quirk, but either way, he was able to grab Bakugo and throw him over to Best Jeanist. And then Shigaraki remarks that, I do remember that face of yours from Jaku. He's saying that, my name is Lemillion, the hero in charge of communication and defense, intercepting attacks from villains that come our way and making sure information flows without a hitch requires someone fast and nimble to go across the battlefield, and of course the best person for this task would be Mirio with his quirk. He then starts to ask him, why do you want to break everything? Why is this your plan? Why do you want to destroy? And Shigaraki then says, because the current system has failed miserably, and we see some more fighting with them, and we see that Nejire actually shoots out some of her energy, and it attaches to Mirio's arm, and he's able to use it as a sort of gauntlet. And I'm assuming this is going to give him an exponential boost in his attack power. So we see that I think Shigaraki is kind of not wanting to get hit by one of those, because I'm assuming it probably would deal a good significant amount of damage. So he starts to go on the defensive a little bit against Mirio after he acquires this energy on his arm. Mirio then starts to state what we're all assuming is going to be the problem with the fight, and it's that nobody's going to be able to really defeat Shigaraki on their own until Midoriya shows up, and they're all kind of just stalling for time at this point. So he's just saying that he's not going to let Shigaraki lay a finger on anyone until Midoriya gets there, so he's going to kind of play stopgap and try to stop him from really getting away from anybody, and he wants to keep him in place at least long enough for Midoriya to show up and finish up the fight. This kind of reminds me of like Dragon Ball Z or just Dragon Ball in general, where like everybody kind of stalls the big villain until Goku shows up, which I'm hoping that we do see a bit more than just Midoriya kind of soloing him. I hope everybody kind of contributes in some way, especially Bakugo. But this is where we actually cut back to Bakugo in Best Jeanist, and Best Jeanist is telling Bakugo, let me see your arm, let me sew it up, and we still need your firepower. And we see that Bakugo's kind of laid down, he's not saying anything at the moment. And Best Jeanist notices this. He's thinking like, man, you gotta get rest. You gotta take care of yourself. And that Shigaraki's a completely different monster right now, and that it's basically okay that you're not able to solo him. That it's fine. He's just not normal right now. And we see some text bubbles surrounded by some black coloring. And I'm assuming this is the Best Jeanist talking, basically telling Bakugo that you're not going to be really able to use the insight that you gained fighting with Shigaraki, and that it's okay that you did your best, you did your excellent best, and that it's okay that you're not able to right now. But we see that Bakugo isn't even acknowledging that. We see that he's still in the fight. He's saying right feint, finger, feint. He's doing all of these different moves, going over what Shigaraki's doing and probably thinking about the best ways to counter them. And we see Best Jeanist is super surprised. He's like, whoa, even after all that, this man is not finished yet. And we see Bakugo with some crazy eyes. He's focused intently on the battle, just thinking up the different plans, making sure that he doesn't miss a single beat, optimizing, his strategy, and most likely trying to think of a better way to go at fighting Shigaraki. And we see that Bakugo just is not down for the count, and he's not going to be going down at all. And this is actually where the chapter ends off this week, with Bakugo basically staying determined and saying that he's going to still stay in the fight. And I think it's important for everybody to realize that Bakugo has always been like this. He's such a hard worker, and for as much as Deku had to work for his power and Deku has struggled, Bakugo has really struggled the same exact way, and he's always been fighting to, try to be the best person that he can, and he's very passionate about becoming a hero. And I feel like people forget that. But especially now in the story, we do see that Bakugo really is a good person, and that he really is trying his best to become the best person that he possibly can be. And that's very important for everybody to kind of notice. And I'm just happy that he isn't technically still going to be out of the fight. And I think Horikoshi is going to do something to get Bakugo back into the fight and back with everybody else. I actually do have a couple theories on how this is possible, and it pertains to my running theory about him being related to the second user of All for One, or One for All. And I think he definitely is going to have some type of quirk awakening later on that helps him, fight on par with everybody else, or Midoriya in the fight, since we have to remember that Bakugo is the most popular character in My Hero, and everybody knows that. And I think everybody realizes that Horikoshi really does like him too, so I feel like Horikoshi is going to have Bakugo be involved in this whole ending or the fight with Shigaraki in some way. And I think that my theory, which is a running theory pertaining to him being related to the second user, is kind of going to play into maybe him getting some type of quirk awakening. And I was going to make a video on this. I think this is a very plausible thing to happen, that he's going to resonate with Deku or something, and that's how he's going to get his awakened quirk. But I definitely want to keep that for a later video. I'll make it its own thing. But I definitely do want to say thank you for watching the video, and let me know what you guys thought of the chapter in the comments. It was a very simple chapter. It's just them fighting, them trying to hold off Shigaraki, but I just really liked that ending panel with Bakugo showing that he is such a hard worker and that he isn't going to be out of the fight, so we don't have to worry about him not showing back up in the fight right now. But definitely let me know what you guys thought, and like the video if you liked it, and also subscribe, as I make a lot of videos just like this, theory reviews or chapter reviews, theory videos, and different other things. So definitely check out all of my other videos on the channel. And I just want to thank everybody for watching, and I'm out. Peace.